Everybody, welcome to the studio for this Wednesday, and we're going to be painting that guy over there. Beautiful strawberry shortcake. As I'm doing summertime things, that is one thing that I really used to love growing up. We used to go and pick our own strawberries and come back. My mother would make kind of that bready shortcake. So nice. We just macerate those cherries, put them on there. It was so good, so good. Hello, Liza. Welcome. So I've got a bit of a smaller piece of paper here today. This is Bao Hong Professional paper. It's quite rough. It is not rough paper. It's cold press paper, but it is quite rough. Liza, you use Bisquick, so did your mom. I think my mom did too. Made a fantastic short bread for that. Oh, so good. I'm going to, let's see. So Bao Hong paper. Over on my right hand side over here are my M-Gram paints. I'm using, let's see if you can see it today. Using my King Art brushes. There they are. These are the 90/20 series. I don't get anything for saying that. But if you want to sponsor me, King Art, I'm willing. And I'm going to jump right in with this so I can get a little bit ahead, so I can talk a little bit as we get going later on. I've got some browns, some ochres already on my palette over here. I'm just going to use those as they are, and I'm going to put a first coat on these biscuits. I'm going to get started with those. I could start with the strawberries. I could start with the whipped cream that's here, but I'm just going to start with these. I think that'll go really well. And as always, I hope everybody is having a fantastic week. We are at Hump Day in the middle of the week here, where I'm at my work. I think you all know I work at a university. Students are coming back to the university tomorrow, and so my university is going to be packed with students in the very near future. That's both exciting and not problematic, but it's both exciting and it's I don't know, what do I say it is? It's exciting to have the students back, but it's nice when they're gone too.
It's going to bring a lot of complication and movement issues back to campus, but the students are there. That's why we're all there. Tom is here. Hello, Tom. Good evening. Good evening. I'm glad you can make it this evening. It's good to see you again. I have this ochre color I'm just putting on my biscuits here. And if you want to see at some point why I have so much of this ochre color on my palette, I'll be happy to show you. I took a hike with my oldest son, and we took a picture. We took a hike out into one of the parks that's around here, out into the countryside, and it literally looks like you are, 100 years in the past. You can't even see a telephone pole. You see no instances of civilization, no anything. You just see rolling fields and mountains, and it's a lovely, lovely place to go and go on a hike. And we go to a little spot there called Musical Rock, where back in the 40s, I guess, the Army Corps of Engineer did some drilling practice and drilled out some holes into a whole bunch of rocks that were there. And now you can go and you can slap them and you can hit them, and they reverberate with different sounds depending upon the depth of the holes that are there. So it's a fantastic little place. I took a number of pictures of it. I've got a painting of it going over here. It's going quite well. I'm really proud of it. But being out in the wilderness where I'm at, it's a little dry, and as you can imagine, dry in California means a brown bit there. So lots of this ochre in mine. Tia is here. Happy Wednesday. You made it on time. Of course you made it on time. And you know what? Even if you're a little late, that's fine. I'm glad you made it. I'm glad you took some time to come and visit. Okay. I'm procrastinating just a little bit. Let me get some of this green off of my palette. And I'm going to start with a little bit of red. And the red I'm going to start with is my Pyrrol red that's here. I need to lighten this up quite a bit. Quite a bit of water in this. I want to start with a pinky color, and we're going to see how that goes. But I don't want it to be a bright fire engine red, at least to start. We can always come back and we can put on, well, let's see, I can do this piece over here too. We can put on more layers and we can make this look pretty much like anything we want to. But we can only do that if we start with light layers first and move to more layers or thicker layers after that. So I've got these strawberries on here. I want to give them a nice soft pinkish layer. Right, I want to look at that reference photo. I want to find out what the lightest color is. And I want to make everything that color. And then let everything else become that color. And we can come back and we can, like I said, we can add on to it later if we need to. Let's see, right on around. Okay, cool. There's a couple of strawberries on the top. Looks like there are 3 strawberries or so up there. And I should say, well, I say this a lot. I turn my page a lot. When I started learning how to watercolor paint, I taught myself. And one of the things I did was I turned my page. I hope it's not too distracting for anybody. If it is, I'm sorry. It's not meant to be overly distracting. It's just one of the things that happens as I do some painting. I will return everything to center so you'll be able to see what I'm doing eventually. And if it gets to be too much, just shout out that, hey, you wish I would turn the page just a little less. It's getting to be a bit much, and I'll do my best to accommodate you. But there we go. Some simple strawberries up there. Michelle is here. Hello, Michelle. Liza says, my neighbor and I go strawberry picking every year, and she always makes you some jam. Ooh, strawberry jam is fantastic. I do love strawberry jam. Yes, when I grew up, we had some friends from our church who owned a strawberry farm, and we would go over there and pick strawberries on their strawberry farm, and it was absolutely fantastic. It was absolutely fantastic. Okay, it is quite warm in the studio here. When I sat down this evening and put all of this together, it was pushing 90 in the studio. I don't believe it's cooled off much since then. So everything we've got is going to dry pretty quickly, I believe. So I'm just gonna keep right on going with this, and if I touch any of the biscuit that I've already painted, that'll be fine, because it will more than likely be dry by the time I get there. I'm just gonna keep moving with my strawberries here. And anybody who has any questions, this is the other thing I say a lot. Anybody who has any questions, if you've been here before, you know the deal. Throw your questions in chat. I love asking. I love answering questions. I like talking while I'm painting. Shoot, if I were doing this by myself, just sitting here, I'd probably be talking to myself as I'm painting too. But if you've got questions about anything, please throw them out there. I would love to answer some questions for you. And the questions can be about me. They can be about my art. Be about my style. They can be anything about brushes, pigments, papers, anything else that we use to do watercolors with. Well, shoot, you can ask me anything about anything, and I'm probably going to answer it for you. I don't try not to answer anything, but as this is an art channel, I should probably limit it. 90 degrees, that means it'll get hot for us next week. Tia, it will not. It's the outside air is not that hot. My studio, I did this the wrong way. I should be taking color off the top and pushing it down to the bottom. My studio is in my garage. There's nothing on the top of my garage, and my garage is disconnected from the house. A couple of weeks ago, well, actually probably about a month ago now, I did some tree trimming because I'm nuts. And I trimmed, I've got this huge old avocado tree that normally hangs over a lot of the garage here. So I trimmed the avocado tree. And that meant a whole lot more sunshine gets onto the roof of the garage. As such, it just warms it up. And this is a detached garage, not attached to the house. There's no air conditioning in it. I'm lucky there's a little bit of electricity in here. So it just kind of sits in the sun and bakes all day. So it gets quite warm this time of year, and it doesn't seem that I can open the garage door up and cool it off at all. I don't know what it is about being where it's at on our property. It just gets warm in here. So the outside temperature today where I'm at probably only got up to 75. For us, that's a warm day, but for everybody else, that's not much of a day at all. So let's see. I see there's a question there. Craft Eccentricity. I love the name. Craft Eccentricity. I'm going to get to you in just a second. Let me finish putting just a little bit of color on this strawberry, and I'll get to your question. I'm doing this with a little bit of a smaller brush than I normally do. And with this page being a little smaller, I thought these areas that I'm working in would be a little bit smaller, and I could get away with a little smaller brush. Maybe on this first layer, this initial layer, maybe I should have stayed with a little larger brush, but we'll figure it out. I'm not going to worry about it too much. And maybe just a little red here. Just intensify that a little bit, and a little bit of red over here for some of that outside. It's not skin on a strawberry. I guess it's skin on a strawberry. I guess. Skin on a strawberry? I guess it is. I don't want that to come down into too much of the other ones, but just to get a little start on that. Okay, so the question is, I'm not a skilled painter. That makes two of us. Something that really helped me was opening an image in Photoshop and blowing it up until it was just pixels. I could then see the defined color for every dot and where. Cool. That's one way to do it. You could also, I think one of the cool things about watercolors, I don't want to say that you can't do that or you shouldn't do that. I'm going to say one of the cool things about watercolors is that kind of dreamy going in and out of colors, and sometimes not even having the correct color makes things look even better than they are. So while you can blow things up, and while you can really delve into some of the, whoops, I got a little brown in there. While you can really delve into some of the different color combinations, the actual color combinations in an image, quite honestly, I'm not really sure it's even needed in watercolor. You have poor eyesight. Okay. You'll see me squinting. My eyesight is not wonderful. I'll show you my my glasses that I use here. If I'm not streaming, I'll show you my glasses. They're kind of funny. All right, now I got a little bit of brown on the top of this bun, or this biscuit, right? It was just a little bit of burnt umber with that little bit of yellow ochre, just to put a little bit of brown on top of. Here are my glasses. These are my reader glasses, and these ones are meant, I got these at the Japanese store at Daiso, and they look really weird when you look at them. The nose piece is really small and it's really far down. They're meant to sit way down your nose, and it's perfect if you don't want to bend your head way down, but you want to see exactly what's down there. So if I'm just painting by myself, I put these on and it's fantastic. I can see everything right around here. But if I have to look up, there to read anything, it gets a little hairy for me. It gets a little difficult. All right, so we got the top of the bun here. Biscuit. Why am I calling it a bun? It's a biscuit. And now I want to put some of these same colors on the bottom of this biscuit. And I'm just going to do the same thing. I want to have my mix a little stronger rather than a little wetter. And I'm gonna lay that color on, and I'm just gonna blend it straight up when I'm done with it. There we go. Got a little crumble right there. Just about like that. All right. So Crafty, I have done some paintings. Now this is going to sound a little odd, but I promise you it's true. I've done some paintings where I didn't use any of the colors that are found in the reference image. Used all different colors, and it's amazing. It can still come out and look really good, really interesting. Your mind kind of fills in a lot of the color right around the imaging, and you don't have to get anything even close to being right, and you turn out with you can come out with some really fascinating pieces of artwork. But that's just me. I'm willing to do some things a little bit differently than maybe some people are, and I recognize that. Now, I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this. We have a light source that comes in from over here, right? Comes in from right to left for me, this way across the page. So from about here over on this top bun, and maybe a little bit over here, we've got to darken this up a little bit. We need to make this look a little rounder. And I'm going to think about how I want to do that, because I don't want to put any blue over there. I think blue is not appropriate on a biscuit. Can you guys see me? Oh, it looks like, so I'm looking at my metrics up here. It looks like we had quite a few people, and now we're down quite a few people. If anybody's still there, I hope you're still there. I hope I'm not just rambling on too much. If you're still there, reach out, give a question. I'm actually gonna do something a little funny here. I'm going to, Liza, you're here, fantastic. Thank you, thank you. I'm going to take a little bit of my gamboge and I'm gonna mix it with a little bit of my Pyrrole red, and I want to make I hate to say I'm going to warm that red up a little bit by putting that yellow in it, but I'm going to orange this red up a little bit. And I'm going to just, on a few of these strawberries, it looks to me like the inside is warmer, right? It looks like there's a bit of an orange, of a yellow tint to it. Actually, I'm going to push that even a little bit more. Ooh, I like that. And I'm just going to lay that on there. So I hope you can even see that. That's really orangey in there. At least to me, that's very orangey. I think that looks fantastic. And down here at this one, let me do this. I didn't even let you guys see the reference photo. What am I doing? Well, it's not very big, is it? Let's see if we can change that. Whoop. There you go. So the bottom strawberry, the bottom middle strawberry, there is a lot of orange on that too. I want to get some of that orange on there, and maybe the middle one. Well, maybe a couple of more in the middle of this. Let me get. That's a good color combo. Liza, thank you. I know you're the I was going to say you're the color guard for us here. But color guard is a different term. The color police for us. And as long as we're not using green, I know you're on it. I know I can count on you to be on it. And I want to make sure I don't touch my wrist into anything I've previously done. Let's see, this is going to come kind of all the way back here like that, and I'm going to blend that out. Green, you and green will never be friends. You're going to be friends. You're going to get to be good friends eventually. You guys just need to come to an understanding, a bit of an understanding. You're having a little bit of a disagreement right now. You'll come to an understanding soon. A meeting of the minds. Okay, there we go. I like that. We've warmed up that strawberry a bit. Right, we've made that look a bit warmer. I see there's a piece up here too. And for anybody who's just here, I'm not necessarily trying to make this look exactly like the reference photo. I'm using the reference as a reference, but then I'm trying to just interject my own life into this. So where I think that reference photo looks great, I'm going to try to do everything I can to represent that well. And where I think it needs a little help, well, I'm going I'm going to give it the help I think it needs a little bit. And sometimes that means making minor adjustments to it, and sometimes that means making major adjustments to it. Either way, we're going to end up, I guess that's what I want to say, we're going to end up with something that looks fantastic. In this case, it's going to be a slightly smaller painting, but it's still going to look really nice. And if I hung this on my office wall, I'm going to guarantee that people would walk by and comment on it. And if anybody wants to tackle this on their own, you can try to find that reference photo. I'm not exactly sure where I got that reference photo. But you can always go to my Discord channel and get it. I try to post, I think I do a pretty good job with it, of posting the reference photos each week on my Discord channel. Let's see, this has a few little stripes in it. I just want to see if I can keep those. If I can, fantastic. If I cannot, I'm not going to sweat it too much, but it'll be interesting to see if I can, what they're going to end up looking like. Okay, there we go. Looking good so far. This might be a little intense. As I'm looking at that, I'm going to just take a little color off of there. And as I'm taking color off of there, right, there's no secret to what I'm doing. I'm just I'm cleaning my brush off. I'm drying it up with a towel. Just pulling any moisture that's on there off and then repeating that again. That's how I pull everything out. Michael, are you still broadcasting to us and then people on Twitch? I'm not doing Twitch right now, from here anyways. I had so much trouble with it, and it was so frustrating that we're just doing YouTube. Just YouTube. I got totally frustrated with all of the problems that we were having with the rebroadcast, and I didn't want to do that. So if I'm going to do another broadcast to Twitch, it'll be its own broadcast. You might see it in Discord come up on a Thursday or a Friday or a Saturday or something like that. But I'm going to keep this Wednesday as just our Wednesday. This is always going to be a YouTube Watercolor Wednesday because I enjoy it so much. I hope you guys enjoy it. I think you guys do. You keep coming back. So I'm gonna keep this as just a YouTube stream going forward. And again, that's nobody's fault other than my own and my technology. I should say, because I am out in the garage, I'm 100 yards away from the main internet in the house, and I'm streaming over Wi-Fi out here, and I'm going through some metal doors and past a tree and around the chicken coop and all kinds of stuff. I've been challenged to get steady Wi-Fi out here, and if that connection had stayed steady, I would have said, cool, we're gonna go with it. We're gonna do a broadcast on both. But since it got a little squirrely, I'm jettisoning. That's an easy one for me to say. I'm getting rid of the Twitch portion of it and just leaving it at YouTube. And I think everybody's going to be happier for that. You guys are. I am. I'm not frustrated because the technology is breaking down, and I inadvertently put some quinacridone rose in my color, so I'm going to scrape that off. And I'm looking to go back to my Pyrrole Red. Incidentally, anybody who's new here, I don't know if we have any new folks here, you can see down in the corner, where's it at? Right there. Those are my palette colors. It runs from yellow ochre down here, goes up and around and back down this way. I've got yellows, reds, purple in between red and blue, my blues over here, greens here, and my neutrals in the corner. That's kind of how I like to set up my palette. If you guys have a better way to set up a palette, I'm all ears, but I think my way works out pretty well. Pretty well. Might not be perfect, but it has worked for me for quite a long time. But I am always curious to see or hear how other people set up their palette. I did it this way. It made sense for me to do it this way. I'm going to group all of my colors together. I actually group that. I subgroup all of my colors. I feel like I'm yelling tonight. Am I yelling at everybody? I feel like I'm yelling just a little bit. I subgroup all of my colors. If you really take a close look at my palette, I go from cold colors to warm colors in each of those subgroups. So, if you look at my, there we go. If you look at my yellows here, I've got a cold yellow, right, Hansa yellow, a warm yellow, gamboge, and then a really warm yellow, so yellow or so warm it's an orange. So it goes colder to warmer. My red's colder. That quinacridone rose is very cold. And then up on the top up here is my maroon perylene, a much warmer color. Right, my blues, the same thing. They start up here with, maybe my blues go the opposite way. Cold. I don't know. I have to. Where's my? I don't know where my card is. Anyways, they go warm to cold, cold to warm across the whole series there. Okay, so we're starting to get some strawberries in here. You can kind of start to see what things are looking like. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not worried about the biscuit. It looks flat right now. This looks flat right now. We're gonna fix that. I'm not worried about the strawberries. The strawberries are going to look good. They'll be nice and look juicy. We're going to put lots of layers on them. We'll have some fantastic colors running through all of those. Yes, this one needs some color. Yes, this one needs a lot of color. Well, there's going to be more color on all of these. Not worried about those in the least. What I am worried about is the cream that's in here. And I'm going to do the cream with my neutral tint. I'll tell you why I'm worried about neutral tint. And I'm going to show you before I actually do anything with this. Because if you get a little too much neutral tint, that neutral tint is going to go a long way. And if you look at it, I put it down here dry, just very quickly. And look. It's got a stain. My neutral tint stains very quickly. And it runs on everything. So I've got to put on some color and then just dab on some neutral tint and make sure we don't get too much on there. I'm really going to have to manipulate this, because I would really rather do this in 2 or 3 layers than do this in 1 layer, because in 1 layer it's gonna potentially just blow everything out very quickly. And so I'm gonna give it a shot here. I've done this before, and I've done it with mixed reviews, albeit they were my own reviews, but mixed nonetheless. So I've got to get just a watery little bit here. Come on, refocus. But I want to get this, and I'm using this because this is a really easy, it's a nice, easy shadow color on here. The neutral tint, the neutral tint challenge is exactly right. It's such a nice, easy shadow color, but if you let it get out of control, it's gonna come back and bite us. So we've really got to watch it. Really got to watch it. The other thing I'm a little concerned of is that red doesn't always rinse out of brushes all that well. And if I get some red in my cream, I'm gonna have to make it look like juice. Red juice, and I'm not sure I'm gonna be able to do that. Okay, that one turned out okay. So far, so good. Can you guys see that? Can you see? Bring it up. It's subtle. If I put it back down there, I think you see it a little bit better. And then, now that I'm looking at it, might be just too subtle. If I could get just, this is where I'm going to get in trouble. It's too subtle. I'm not going to wait and let it dry and put on another layer. I'm just going to jump in and try and do something right now and hope that it works out. And then I'm going to have all kinds of trouble. All right, let's leave that for the time being. You can see that. It's got some nice coloration to it. And I'm just doing the bottom at the moment, right? There might be some that goes on underneath this strawberry, or there might be some that goes on underneath this biscuit, or underneath the part of this strawberry. I'm trying to take it a little bit at a time at the moment. Let's see, this is all, I'm going to paint this as all cream right back there. Give me a little bit of this. I'm going to push that around just a bit. And that's such a small area, I'm not really going to play with that too much. I'm going to let it do its thing over there, and I'm going to come back over on this side and try to do a little bit more. And then by the time I'm done with this, putting on some of this shadow onto white, which I think is always kind of hard. By the time we get this done, we'll be able to go back up and paint our strawberries at the top up here. We're going to have a good time doing some additional painting. It's going to be all good. And I think I got a little, you can see that, whoop, right there. That looks a little strong. But with the power of water, we're going to push that around and we're going to lighten that up quite a bit. With the power of water. Liza, it might just be you and I tonight here. Nobody else is asking questions. Nobody else is really talking a whole lot. I hope things are good in your part of the country. You're a long way away. Hope things are fantastic where you're at. Here it's a little weird. We went most of our summer and didn't have much of a summer. And as soon as fall, right, I'm going to use that in quotes, as soon as fall gets here, all of a sudden it's gotten 10 degrees warmer here than it had been at any point in the summer. I'd love to say that's an anomaly here, but it's not necessarily an anomaly. We often have some strange summers like that. Actually, what our summers are typically like is it'll be blazing hot in April, blazing hot in April, sometimes into May. Like, like mid 80s. Just unbearably warm. And then, whoops, I need to get some extra water in here. And then May, June will come around, and it'll just kind of go, you know what, we're tired of the heat. We're kind of tired of the heat. We're just going to dial it back by 10 or 15 degrees, and then we'll have a whole month where the rest of the nation is sweltering, and we're just kind of not doing anything. And then about the time school comes, it'll just like now, it'll start to warm up again. And I don't know, it's a weird summer out here. JC, I'm listening along. Okay, cool. Getting eggs and bacon drawing transferred to watercolor paper. Cool. Eggs and bacon. That's a good topic. I like that. Okay, where's my piece of scrap paper here? All right, now what I want to do on my piece of scrap paper is I was thinking this would be a good strawberry color. Ooh, look at that. Right, so this is pyrrole red and a little maroon perylene. The maroon is a very aggressive color. If I just put maroon on here, look at how aggressive that maroon is, and when it dries, it's going to be a little bit out of control. So I don't just want to use maroon. I want to tone that down a little bit. So if I put that pyrrole red, now getting the right mixture is what's really going to be important. Let me see, I'll do it this way. But I think that pop of pyrrole red that's in there with the maroon perylene is going to give a good, like a skin color for these strawberries. That might be a little better, a little easier for you to see. Well, that looks so pink on camera. That's definitely gonna. Well, let me do this. Watch this. Remember these colors, and there you go. You can see how dark some of those are and how red, how different they are from the inside. And then if I bring it back here, you can see the colors I'm working on. And I'm thinking somewhere in here, maybe a little bit more maroon, actually, in this red. Make that better. Ooh, that's nice. That's a nice color. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm gonna go forward with something like this. JC says, I like pyrrole red a lot. It's strong cherry color and I can lift it well. It's a cool, you're calling it a cherry color. I always call it a fire engine color. But yeah, it's a nice color. And not that many people use it. I never quite figured that out. I think it's a fantastic color. And it is fiery for sure. Let's see. I'm going to keep an edge here. A pool in the edge that I want to use. There we go. I'm going to try that. All right. And I'm going to use this. I'm going to start up at the top up here. And let's see if I'm doing this right. Let's see if I've mixed these colors right. And of course, I am mixing them right because whatever color I make my painting is going to be the right color. Just want to make sure I get kind of to the lines and not too much over. And before anybody asks, no, I haven't quite figured out what I'm going to do for the cherry seeds. It's cherry seeds. Oh my Lord. The strawberry seeds that are on here. I haven't quite figured that out yet, but we'll get to those. But I'm liking the color here. It's a good strawberry-y color, right? I'm gonna allow this color to keep coming along. Keep coming along. And then as I get to this end, I've got to warm that way up. So there's going to be more of this orange that goes in it as it gets there. And that orange color is there because I think it hits the light. I think I'll make strawberry shortcake tomorrow. Oh, okay. You're making it tomorrow, Liza. I'm coming over. I'll leave now. It'll take me all day to get there. I haven't had a good strawberry shortcake in a long time, but you know what? I do have. There's a good restaurant 2 towns north of me. They're actually known for their pies, but they do. I'd be willing to bet you they make a fantastic strawberry shortcake. How could you not make a good strawberry shortcake if you make a good pie, right? Last time I went there, I had a tart cherry pie, and it was fantastic. Really, really good. Okay, there's my strawberry right there. I'm gonna leave that sit, and I like the colors of that. I really like the colors of that. And I'm gonna put some this color here and around this way too, right? This is a little skin on that guy. And I'm just gonna soften that edge just ever so slightly. Actually, you know what? I'm not working tomorrow. I got so much vacation time. I have to keep taking vacation. I know it's terrible, but I have to keep taking vacation. So I don't have any vacation tomorrow. Maybe when I'm done with this live stream, I'm going to have to drive up there, up to Cambria, and see about getting a piece of pie. Now, now I think we're talking. Ooh, and I missed a little bit here. I hope I can get this without causing a back run. I'm hoping I can get that without a back run. I probably should have just left it. I think it's going to be okay. It looks like we got a little bit of pinkiness in here. I'm hoping that's going to kind of tone itself down. What is my favorite pie? Michael, what is your favorite pie? I'm going to have to say my favorite is blueberry. I'm a huge blueberry fan. I love all things blueberry. So if you ask me what my favorite pie is, it's going to be a blueberry pie. It could be a blueberry cobbler. It could even be a blueberry buckle. But we're talking about pie. My favorite pie is a blueberry pie. And if I had to name a close second, it would be a tart cherry pie. And we didn't have blueberries growing up. Growing up, we spent a lot of time vacationing in Michigan, and Michigan grows a lot of blueberries. And so we would go outside, my brother and I, and we would pick wild blueberries, and we would pick them by the bushel full and just eat them. We'd eat them plain, we'd mix them with everything, we'd have as many wild blueberries as we could. We'd be sick of wild blueberries by the time we were done eating blueberries. My brother even used to put blueberries during blueberry season on his spaghetti. A little butter and blueberries on his spaghetti, and that's how he would eat his spaghetti. I didn't quite go that far, but I probably would have. But I love blueberries. Oh, so good, so good. But we had, growing up, we had a couple of fruit trees. One of the fruit trees we had was a cherry tree. Actually, we had, what do we have? 3 or 4 or 5 cherry trees. We had quite a few of them throughout the property. And the first year we lived in, well, not the first year, but, shortly after we moved into that property, and I don't know what I was, 5 or 6 or something like that, and this was in Ohio. We went on vacation during the 4th of July. Well, that was when the the cherries were going to get ripe. And my dad was like, well, it's not a big deal. We'll pick the cherries when we come back. It's, whatever. They're cherries. They'll be there. There's a whole bunch of them. And we came home and there was not one cherry on the tree. They were all gone. Everywhere. Every one of them gone. Well, the next year we found out why, because the birds know when they're gonna ripen, and the birds will just sit in the tree and they'll eat every one of those cherries out of the tree. What they do is they kind of take a bite or two out of each one, and then spit it out and move to the next one. Take a bite or two of the next one and spit it out and move on. It used to drive my parents nuts that they would do that. They got all the. Why can't they just eat one at a time and call it good? Why do they have to? Why do they have to? Ruin so many as they're going through these. So we learned, don't be gone on the 4th of July or around the 4th of July, because that's when all of the cherries are going to ripen up. So I really did grow up with an appreciation for cherries, but my true love is blueberries. Fantastic. I love blueberries. I was invited to do so. I work at a university. One of the things I was invited to do one year was do taste test surveys for students. Right, we have a kitchen on campus, and the nutrition students go there, and the food science students too, I guess, do some work out of there to determine what kinds of foods people like to eat and whatnot. And so they'll send out a survey and say, hey, would you like to participate in a survey that we're running? And you fill it out, and if you qualify, then you get to go and take part in whatever their survey is. Well, I qualified for one of them, and it was a survey on blueberries, and I got to come home and eat blueberries for 3 days straight, and it was the best thing. This is the best survey I've ever taken. Oh, it was so good. I have cherry tree, and yep, there is a tight window between ripe and when the birds strip the trees clean. You don't have much time. You got to be there right at the right time, or they, like you said, they'll rob you blind. They're just doing what birds do. More power to them. But oh, come on, come on, guys. Leave some for everybody else. Look at that. Okay. So, I got this whole thing over here to do. I can't get excited when I got this much left to do. I got this whole one over here. Okay, come on. Let's see what we got. But JC, do you like cherries? Are they that good? We would pick them, and we would pit them, and then we would freeze them, and we would just have bags and bags and bags of frozen cherries. And we had peaches too, so we'd have bags and bags and bags of frozen peaches. And I guess we'd start pulling them out of the freezer to make pie or cobbler or buckle, depending, for Thanksgiving. And that was it. Once they started coming out, it was oftentimes a parade of pies. Well, that's a good one to say. A parade of pies through the seasons until all of that ran out. But we would, we'd have enough for 200 pies or something like that, and they were all so fantastic, just so fantastic. And the peaches too. We'd blanch the peaches, pull the skins off of them, freeze them up, just so they, just so when you all you had to do was thaw them out, put them in a crust, and you were good to go. You had instant pie. Oh, so good, so good. Memories, childhood memories. Cherry pie is my favorite. I put them with a steel straw and freeze. The best, absolutely. Liza says, we bought cherry salsa on our vacation in July, expecting it would be enough to get us through until next year. Needless to say, we're running low here already because the cherry salsa is addictive. Cherry salsa, that does sound good. I want some of that. All right, I think we're getting there, right? Our strawberries look good. We're gonna need to add another layer onto almost all of this, but it's getting there. Let's see. This to add a little extra definition, make it rounder, right? So our shading for this will make it look round. Our shading for this one will be to add a little color here and blend it lighter that way. That we might leave it the way it is. This one, a little darker up by the skin and blend it down. Maybe a little bit of that here too. Blend it a little darker by the skin and blend it up this way. I think this is pretty good. We do have a little bit to go on the bun, and actually, I'm not hating. That's a terrible way to say it. I'm not hating the biscuit that we have here. We do need to darken this side of the biscuit. So let's see if we can make a warm gray here. I want this to be really a warm gray. So that we can, I'm going to put a little bit of this yellow ochre in here to do a little bit of color matching. So that we can just have it a little bit darker over there. Cherry salsa. This is cherry salsa? Yeah, it does sound absolutely amazing. It sounds amazing. I don't think I've had cherry salsa. I've had cherry compote. Cherry, I don't know, we eat a lot of cherry dishes over the year. Cherry salsa sounds pretty good. I would think, Liza, and you can tell me if I'm right on with this or not. But I think if I had cherry salsa, I would probably eat it with a spoon right out of whatever kind of a package, a jar, a bag, a box, whatever you get that in, probably how I would eat that. Is that the appropriate way to eat cherry salsa? And if it's not, why is it not? It would seem to me as though that would be the appropriate way to do that. Okay, I didn't want that to get too... I still think we're okay with it. I don't want that to get... Yeah, I'm going to pull some of this off. I'm going to pull some of this color off of there. I think I need to rework this shadow a little bit. Right, a little darker on that side. I just want something to push this back a little bit. It doesn't need to be much. And maybe that little bit. I always feel weird putting some blue color in food because I'm like, it doesn't really belong there in food, or you don't think it belongs in food. It always seems a little odd. But I'm going to put it there, and I'm going to put some underneath our strawberries down here. I want it to match on both sides, both the top and bottom, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And then let's make sure we can pull this out. I don't want this to sit too long. Don't sit too long. Be nice, and let me get that out of there. Okay. Well, it doesn't look too bad. I'm not sure that this is exactly right. I'm gonna pull that. It's still wet. I can play with this quite a bit. Just want to pull that out a little bit more. And I think what I'm going to do is put a little bit of the same color. I'm trying to do this very lightly, just barely ticking my brush on the top. With a little bit of the same color on this opposite side over here, just and that should help make it look rounder, more rounder. If I didn't make that too dark. If I did, I'm going to pull it out so it's not. More rounder. Okay. Let's do this up here now. I don't know why. Does anybody know why? Does anybody who's watching know why? Can I explain to me why we need this shadow over here? I know because I know the effect of putting the shadow on this side is it tricks our eyes into thinking this is something that curves away from you. But on the original object, it's not there, and we still think it curves away from us. So I've never quite figured out exactly how shadowing works. I just know that it works this way. Okay, a little line there, so that should it should help a little bit. This isn't dark enough on this side. We'll fix that. Okay, we'll fix that. How are we doing up here? We're good up here. Now, going back to do more on our strawberries. Of course, we're going to do more on our strawberries. The strawberry is the main thing here. Let's see. Liza says, when we have small pieces of chips, we actually put them in a small dish and add salsa and eat with a spoon. There you go. That's actually pretty funny. It sounds too good just to be a dip. I don't know whoever thought of it, but it sounds fantastic. Too good to be a dip. I would, God, you probably put it on a bowl of ice cream. You put it on a sundae. You put it on anything. It's one of those things that sounds really magical. All right, we got a couple little lines in here. All right, there we go. I like that. I like that. What do we have here? We've got this whole thing. I'm gonna try a little water. This is a little larger space, so I'm gonna put a little bit of water on here. Come on. And then I'm going to add my color. And hopefully we don't have too much work to do here. Hopefully some of this the water is going to do for us. Well, shoot, that actually kind of looks like a strawberry, doesn't it? It does actually kind of look like a strawberry. Look at that. Who'd have thunk it? Now, I do want to put my little lines back in here. I can just make out where they were. If you see, I'm just drying, I'm pressing down, drying off these bristles, putting it on my page where it's still wet, and just trying to lift off some of that paint. If it works, great. If it doesn't, I'm not going to sweat it too much. But I think you can kind of see it there. All right, now we got this one down here. And this one, well, I was going to say this one looks more orangey, but you know what? We're going to use the color that we have here. Put this on here, and then blend it Blend it up. Blend it, blend it, blend it. Blend, blend. Blend like that. And I'm looking here, and you know what? This has actually got a tiny bit of a green tint to it, and I really like that. It's kind of allowing for the two strawberries to be slightly different. Just that tiny bit of green that's there. I'm just gonna. I want that to be very slight. I'm gonna blend it. I'm gonna do one piece of this at a time. I'm gonna do the side because I'm not gonna blend. I'm gonna do the side because I'm gonna blend the top right now. That's the better way to say it. All right, this has got a little extra color in it. Okay. All I can say now is I'm really freaking hungry now. Sorry, not my intent to make anybody hungry. My wife is like that. When we used to watch a lot of Food Network shows together, she's like, "How can you watch this?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" She goes, "Aren't you constantly hungry? Don't you just constantly now want to go out and get something to eat?" I'm like, I don't know. For me, it's not quite that way, but I get where it could be. I get where it could be for her. There we go. A little bit of green. Just dab a little bit of green in there. Ooh, I think that looks good. I think that looks good. I'm going to put a couple of lines in here. All right, we got a couple of things to do. Well, let's do this. All right, I'm going to leave this down here for a second. I'm going to come back up to my strawberry up here, and I'm going to attempt to make this look more rounder. Liza, Tia, you guys are super hungry now. Sorry, not sorry. I mean, I don't want you to be hungry, but I think that means the painting is going well, though. Actually, I'm going to add a little bit more blue into that. I think that means the painting is going well. I'm not certain, but I think that's what that means. I have some nice purpley colors in here. I'm trying to think, what did I eat today? I had a bowl of cereal this morning. Some days I just kind of get distracted with doing other stuff and I don't eat too much. I know it's not good, but it is what it is. I know I made a sandwich just before I came out here. I had a peanut butter sandwich just before I came out here, but I was like, did I eat anything else today? I couldn't remember. But I did. I had a bowl of cereal this morning. There we go. Okay. So cool. And if I can pull a little bit of this color back off of here, which I probably can pull a little bit of this color. Then this might actually look rounded. Let's just do that. There we go. Okay, cool. I'm going to go with that. I got to come down and work on this one down here. I hope this one is dry. I didn't even test it. Looks like it's probably dry. A little bit of that blue. This ultramarine blue is all I'm using here. A little bit of ultramarine blue. Really not much. And some of that pyrrole red. It's not my favorite purple to make, but I think it's going to be effective enough. I like a different purple, but if I were to do a different purple, I think we'd get way out of the color harmonies that we have here. And I might be pushing it a little bit with this much ultramarine. So I don't want to do too much with altering the color, but a little bit I think will be okay. And again, if I wet this area right here, I should be able to pull some of this off. The Pyrrole, well, let's see, the Pyrrole red will stain a little bit. Let's see what's staining and what's not. Pyrrole red, and let's just run this back and forth. Now I'm really curious. Maroon and Pyrrole, we're just going to rub this a little bit. I hope you can see what I'm doing. Let's see if we can lift that and see how much we can get off of there. Anybody else feel like watching live painters more? Well, live painters more like a sports event where you say, yes, that color, no, not that one. That's funny. All right, neither of these came off quite like I thought they were going to come off. I thought the Pyrrole, I'm sorry. The maroon does have a bit of a staining component to it, but it also has a part of a granular component. And the Pyrrole red I thought would come right off of there, but it didn't really, but that's okay. I think it's okay. All right, so we got a few things to do here. Actually, if I'm looking at this, I'm not worried about the color all that much. I actually think our strawberries on here look pretty good. I think the weak part of this, at this point, is the biscuits. We gotta fix the biscuits. Gotta fix the biscuits. Let's do some biscuit work, huh? Let's do some biscuit work. I'm gonna drop in a little color over top of that darkish color. I'm not wild about that. I'm not wild about it. So I can glaze over that and tone some of that down anyways. But we've got this cool texture-y bit that we need to do something with on here. This biscuit is flaky and fluffy. It's full of yummy goodness, and I want to be able to pull some of that out, right? And I've drawn in some of the kind of nooks and crannies that are in here already. And we're going to kind of continue with some of that. I do like painting. I really do like painting food. I don't know. Do you guys know that? I love painting food. Oh, I forgot. I have a... Actually, let's do this. That looks so good on that side. I'm going to do a little bit more on this side. I'm going to bring this color range up a little bit. The saturation level just up a little bit. And if I do that, I'm talking out loud now. If I do that, if I bring that saturation level up a little bit, but don't pull it all the way out. So I'm going to have this really light area in the center. That might be, with that little bit of dark that's underneath, that might be enough to really make this look like this biscuit is round. Right? We've got these little darker areas at the side over here where the light kind of bends around a little bit. I think this is going to work out for us a little bit here. And before we go too far, I have a poll for everybody. I like doing polls. I don't know if anybody else likes the polls. I have a poll. I'm gonna make a rooting chart, like a scale, as you can see, so you can judge at home, right? You put the wrong color paint on. You think somebody puts the wrong color paint on? That's a -2 points. If they elicit a hoot from the audience, that's a +3 points or something like that. Right, a rooting scale, so everybody can keep track at home. I do like watching live paint sessions. There's always something to learn from a new perspective. I like watching them. I like doing them. I learn. So if you learn something from them, believe it or not, I learned something from every one of these. Every one of these sessions that I've done, I've learned from. And sometimes it's just that I'm willing to try something in here and you find something cool, or sometimes you just go, oh, wait a minute. Well, I remember doing that before, and you're forced to kind of remember it. Because you're doing it in front of everybody else. After I'm painting along on my own current work, it's like get together. Right, there you go, with the comfort of home. Okay, I have a poll. I'm going to start a poll. Whoops. There we go. I started a poll. I think it's 3 questions, right? Anybody who's here? I know we got a dozen people here or so. Ooh, it's still warm here. Started a poll. These are some things we can think about for next week. Right? Fruit pie might be a good one to paint. An iced drink, like a lemonade. You know, I'm trying to think of summertime things, right? Lemonade, iced tea, something with some ice in it, a straw. Maybe even an umbrella. Or maybe we do some fruit. A bowl of watermelon cantaloupe, something like that. I don't know. If you want to see something, put it down there. Maybe we can get to it. Where's my sheet? Now, what I need to look at, I'm gonna let our biscuits dry there for a second. What I want to see is if I get some dark color. Whoop. Well, that's not what I wanted. It'll be fine. If I get some dark color and I go like this. Do those look like seeds? I'll hold it up so you can see here in just a second. Or is this going to be opaque enough that I can do seeds like this? Which would be more the real color of things. I don't know if that's going to dry quite opaque enough. Okay, cool. So here it is. I'm just trying to look at. Come on, focus in. Focus, focus. Hand, focus. There you go. If I draw in some lines for some seeds on here, is black going to work better, or is that yellow ochre going to work better? Maybe even... Maybe some of this... Come on. Come on, it's too watery at the moment. Come on, get a thicker bit of it. Maybe even some of that burnt umber in there. Right here you can see them all kind of together. I gotta let that dry a little bit so we can see exactly what those are gonna be like. I'll pick that up in just a second. All right, poll. All right, I'm going to end my poll. Watch, we're going to end 1 and 1 and 1. No, fruit pie wins. Fruit pie was 66% of the vote. All right, cool. Yellow ochre. Come on back. There you go. Slowly come down. There we go. JC, you're thinking that yellow ochre looks better. Let's let that dry all the way. I'm a little concerned. If it's not dry all the way, that it might get a little weird. While I'm waiting for that, I'm gonna get a bit more of this color back here. I want to be able to differentiate. There's a piece of strawberry back there. I just want that to be different than these other colors. I think that'll do it. That'll do it. All right, and now I know that I'm going to get a ochre-y, umber-y color in here, and I'm going to just put some dots and some lines, some different areas in here. Right where this biscuit has got a few little things in it. That's pretty, ooh, I don't know if that's dry, quite dry enough. And you know what? You know, as I'm looking at this, I don't have, before I do that, I need to redo my top. My top has gone away. My beautiful brown, golden brown and delicious top has gone away. I put too much color on over top of it. And so that delicious bakery color up there has kind of disappeared. And I don't want it to disappear. I want to have that beautiful color up there at the top of this biscuit. Ooh, there. That part looks really good. There you go. There. Okay, cool. Now, that's so much better. If I'm looking at that, I can totally see the top of that biscuit now. It's got some fantastic color to it. And I can see where the top of it is. So that if we come in and we put some extra marks in here, this way, that way, just run them around a little bit. Some ochre-y colors in here too. Right, we're gonna have some you're going to see that there's some texture to this. It's going to be there. It's going to be there. I don't really want too much. Anywhere I think I've got too much, I'm just going to swoosh it out with a wipe of my brush that way. Shoo, shoo, shoo. That's going to get rid of most of it. Faking random can be a challenge. I gotta go slower. It's Polka Dot City. Swoosh it out. I like the swoosh it out approach. I'm totally fine with putting in. Oh, wait, hold on. I gotta do the same thing over here too, don't I? Where's the bottom of our biscuit over here? I come from over here. Let's brown this up. It's a good bottom of the biscuit there. And I'm just wetting my brush, dampening it off a little bit, and just trying to soften that edge just ever so slightly. I don't necessarily want to have enough water on there to allow that color to come all the way up. Right? I'm not trying to blend it up. I want to keep that line, pretty much exactly where it's at. So limit the amount of water, pull right along that line, and you can get a nice really small gradation in there. Very small. Anyway, a few marks here, and they kind of have to go right with they kind of have to go with the contour of the bun. If they don't go with the contour, then they kind of have to go opposite the contour. It's okay to have a few that go the opposite way. And I got that big one right there, don't I? That might be a little too... Oh, that's wet because I swooshed it. That's wet because I swooshed it. These ones in here, I'm just going to blur them ever so slightly. And that doesn't look like... That looks like a pretty good... To me, that looks like a pretty good strawberry shortcake. I mean, I don't know about you. I don't know about you all, but I would eat this strawberry shortcake. That looks really good to me. Would totally eat this strawberry shortcake. And I might have to go and get some, like I said, I might have to go and get some strawberry shortcake after this. Find my way up there and get some pie. It wouldn't be the last time, or I guess I should say, it wouldn't be the first time at about, 9 o'clock at night. Where are we at? 8:30? Wouldn't be the first time 9 o'clock at night that I've driven up to get a little extra pie or anything like that for that matter. Just trying to add a little bit of randomness here. Maybe this has got a little bit of extra color down here. I don't know. I think that looks pretty good. I think we need to move on to some seeds at the moment. I've got a slightly smaller brush here. Correct can be a pain. Perfect perfect graduation, gradation. Perfect graduation. All right, let's see. Okay, so if we look, if we look, oh well, I guess I had it this way last time. We've got some right there. That's our yellow ochre. That is a burnt umber, and that's more of a sepia. I actually think these two, there might be a call to have these two on there. I think I'm going to try a little bit of this burnt umber up at the top up here. This one, I think it can handle... Well, a really thick mixture here. Come on. I think it can handle some darker seeds. You know what I probably should do? So I probably should just put these on with colored pencil or something like that, but I'm not. Why am I not? I really should be doing that. All right, cool. I don't need colored pencil for that. Look, this looks pretty good. Look, actually, I think that does look pretty good. Looks pretty good. Get a darken one or two down here. I like that. I can live with that. And I think I'm going to keep this a little bit darker, and I'll put a couple of seeds. On here. So you can see those. A couple of really darker seeds on there. Right, this is kind of dark and out of the way. Are there any place else we have seeds? We got a couple of seeds here. Let's get one here. I might be going a little seed crazy. I actually don't mind those few darker seeds. I think I'm going to... The seeds are looking great. This is one of those times where I don't think using, let's see, these seeds kind of go that way. I don't think necessarily using the exact color is going to benefit us. Right? I think this is one of the times you're going to look at this and you're going to go, I know exactly what it is. It's a strawberry. I don't care what color seeds it has. I know it's a strawberry. I've seen a million strawberries. I know strawberries have seeds on them. To me, that's what that looks like. There we go. So I've just put some darker seeds on there. I tried to put them on in a line that goes around that way. And I guess when we're all done, we'll make a determination on whether that's a good thing or not. And then we said our light is coming in from here, right? Our light is coming in from there. So because I don't want my wife to yell at me, I like when my wife is happy about stuff. I'm going to put a little bit of a drop shadow on this. Just a little bit of one. Not much. Shoot, we can actually even get a little bit of that red color in here. But I do need to make it kind of go the proper way. Give me some more of that red in there. Whoa, that's too much. There should be some reflected color in here, right? Can be a bit redder, more redder. And I don't need that to be super dark or anything. It just needs to kind of be there. Shoot, even if we had a little bit of that color with, come on, a little bit of this with that little bit of brown in it, that'd be fine too. That's a good shadow. Kind of gets warmer as we go across. There we go. Look, look, look. Maybe I do know what I'm doing with shadows. I can do a decent shadow. I am a real boy. Okay, cool. Now it's not just sitting in the middle of nowhere. That's the thing my wife says is, why do you make it like sit in the middle of nowhere? Well, that's kind of how I visualize things. I don't know. But I kind of like the way this is. I actually like the way this looks. Got some pieces of strawberry here. Definitely got some strawberry here. I don't know if I need to do anything with this. Maybe just add a tiny bit of this purple here. This is the point in time where I start to futz and play along with things, and I probably shouldn't. It's convincing. She says it's floating a lot, right? She does say it's floating a lot. So she and I have different philosophies on why something should look a certain way or why it should not look a certain way. And my philosophy is, I want you to focus on whatever it is. If the focus of my painting is this strawberry shortcake, I don't want you to have to worry about seeing what it's sitting on. I don't want you to have to worry about seeing a background. I want you to see strawberry shortcake. Her philosophy is, why would you have strawberry shortcake that's just kind of floating out there? It makes it look ridiculous. It needs to be sitting on something, or it needs to, be around something. And I get it. I just don't get it. I understand the argument. I don't agree with that sentiment. Now, having said that, I think I'm going to take a little bit of this cerulean and just put a really light bit of color. And I'm doing this not because I think it needs anything up here, because I don't think the picture itself needs anything. But if I put this blue around at least part of this, it's going to make the cream of it stand out a little bit more. And that's what I'm looking for. I'm not worried so much about having a background on here, because I really don't. Honestly, I'm not could give two hoots about that. But I do think in this case, because it has the white on there, the white of the cream, that it needs something to help it stand out a little bit and showcase that cream. If you don't showcase that cream a little bit, then it does get lost in the background. And I don't want it to get lost. I want everybody to look at it and go, ooh, that looks so good. I want to eat some of that. That would be my goal. And it only takes a minute. I mean, literally, it's only going to take a minute to do this. So, especially on something this size, which is not very big, literally will take no time at all. You can have something that looks really pretty nice and will help that beautiful cream stand out. It's going to whiten it up too, more than anything. It's going to whiten that up. There we go. That's all. That's all we need. Just something to help lift it a little tiny bit. Just that. And now I've got a tide line here. Rub that. Get out of there, Mr. Tide Line. Ooh, it does. It looks good. It looks really good. Okay. You used to get that too. I don't understand why people. Well, I don't know. People are sensitive about all kinds of things. I guess to me, it's just a thing. It's the background. It's something you're never going to look at. Here, right? 30 seconds, I put this blue on there. Did it need it? I don't know. The only thing it needed it for was that white. And as you look at it, it does make that white come off a little bit more. The white was a little, out of sorts without something there. Okay, I'm going to sign it here. I think we're about done. Shoo, there we go. That's it for this one. A little bit of strawberry shortcake. I'm just going to grab it like this and eat the whole thing. I really had a fun time painting this. 10 Light Star. I'm a female and I don't think backgrounds are necessary because it detracts from the image. Thank you. Thank you. I don't know that honestly, I don't think it's a male-female thing. I think it's it's a philosophical thing. And I'm okay with it. I'm okay with the argument on either side. It doesn't bother me one way or another. For me, I don't think stuff like that needs it, but I get it. Anyways, wow, it's 8:30. This is the fastest painting I've done this is the fastest painting I've done in a year and a half. Holy cow. I guess that's because it was so small. I had a great time painting this with you all. I hope you all had a good time painting it with me. Go ahead and give this a try. Like I said, you can find that image on my Discord server. You can go ahead and download that. Give it a try. If you do, there's a place for viewer artwork. Post it there so we can all see it and talk about the great job that you all have done with it. And if you don't want to do that, that's fine too. I totally get that. You wanna paint something and leave it on your own. A lot of people don't like to open their artwork up to too many others. Totally understand that. I used to be like that, and I'm more of a I'm not so worried about it anymore. 10 Light Star says, have you noticed AI and the artsy background tend to blur more and more, to blend the background for a focus. Oh, I never noticed that. But I will look now. Now that you bring it to my attention, I will look. Anyways, that's what I've got for you guys. Next week, I guess I'll do some kind of fruit pie. That won the poll. I'm actually looking forward to that. Probably, I'll be honest with you, probably going to be a cherry pie. Might be a blueberry pie. But we'll find out. Until then, I hope you all have a great rest of your evening. I hope you have a great rest of your week. And more than anything, I hope you're able to join me back here again next week when we do this all over again. Thank you all so much for joining me. Until then, bye-bye.